Rancho Mirage. We're grading the site. We're checking the grade to make sure that it's right. We're building a tennis court with basketball and a putting green. On the lot right next door, we're building a pickleball, basketball, and a putting green. So both projects will have game courts on them. We're going to be laying forms up. Tomorrow we're going to be laying steel down. We're going to be putting visqueen down. And a week from today, we're going to be pouring concrete.
Today is a big day, probably the most important part of the tennis court construction. It's the pour. You start bright and early in the morning. We get the concrete trucks out here. Concrete goes into a big boom pump, which then is poured onto the court. You'll see a big laser screed machine, which makes sure that the court is perfectly straight.
This unit here puts out a signal to the laser screed, and that tells the operator where to raise or lower his screed, making the finish and the levelness of the concrete much, much better than it used to be when we used to do it by hand. This particular court is a concrete court. If someone has a problem with their knees or their back and they're hurting and they can't play on concrete, we have special surfaces.
We're here at the Four Seasons Terra-Lago in Indio. Behind me, you see 2 tennis courts of a multiple court project. Yeah. This is the kind of project that Ferandell has built its reputation on. After the slabs have been poured, the surfacing crew will come in, power wash all the courts, apply a nice coat of primer to the entire surface. They'll go around and scrape the surface, check for any impurities, apply a coat of sand-filled acrylic resurfacer to the surface. Then we'll lay out the playing area. We'll put 2 coats of color down in the center here. We'll put 2 coats of color around the perimeter, and then we'll apply the white stripes. We'll hang the net, and you'll be playing tennis.
One of the real advances in lighting are the LED lights that have come a long way and can now have the same kind of spray that a 1,000-watt metal halide has. They look fantastic. Aesthetically, they're pleasing. They last a long time, and then you recover your electric bill on the cost of the lights as well. I have been working with Ferandell tennis courts for about 30 years. I take care of the Los Angeles area, up to San Luis Obispo, down to Long Beach, into Orange County, and far east out to almost Palm Springs. Every tennis court has its unique differences in whether the land has to be graded or groomed or retained. And so when you look at the soils and you look at the conditions surrounding the tennis court, we just offer our best experience and advice on what it will take to put that court in. And we're incredibly competitive. At the same time, we offer great quality. Everybody comes with a unique set of conditions for how they would like their court to fit into their property or their club or their institution, and we work with them from beginning to end on it.
Yeah, I've been around 16 years pouring with Paul at Ferandell Tennis Courts, and this is like just this month alone, this is our 7th court that we've done. When building a tennis court, the way Paul does it, there's no better way to do it. I mean, you're assured of a flat tennis court, you're assured of efficient pours on it. His courts are done efficiently and properly. There's no corners cut.
We got 3 basketball courts on a rooftop. The school has prepared the surface for us because it was on a rooftop. We're using some unusual colors here that we normally don't use. And later on, as soon as the project's finished, we're gonna come back and we're gonna apply the St. Augustine logo in purple, which is one of their school colors.
This is just the beginning of the job. Once this is done, we're around for the life of the court, meaning that we also offer full-service court maintenance.
Resurfacing tennis courts at Ferandell is a big part of what we do. We've been fortunate enough to resurface the tennis courts here at La Jolla Tennis Club throughout the years. They're actually celebrating 101 years of tennis.
The day of the pour is broken into 2 phases. The first phase is pouring the actual concrete, and that takes about 3 hours. The second phase is finishing it, We've got to strip the forms, we've got to edge it, we've got to broom it, and that takes about another 3 or 4 hours. So it's a full day.
When you do a project like this, it's very complicated. It's more complicated than I would have imagined from the beginning, but Paul and his team took all the frustrations away from us, and really appreciate Paul not rushing the project. The vision that they had to see this thing before I could see it. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. We're very happy with the finished product.
This kind of project has become very, very popular. Not only do we do the tennis court here, but we have basketball, we've got pickleball, and we've got a putting green. We put it all together. It's a recreational area for the whole family.
Ferandell Tennis Courts has been in business for 43 years under the leadership of Paul Ferandell, and people have grown to expect only top quality, and that's what we strive to give.
It's a family business. Everybody that works for the company is part of the family. We do great work, and as Paul likes to say, we do it right the first time or we don't do it at all.
I take a lot of pride in the project and what you see here. I want to make sure that the people that we build it for are satisfied and happy. But if it wasn't for the people that worked for Ferandell Tennis Courts, we wouldn't be able to accomplish this. From the staff in the office, to the guys that pour the concrete, to the guys who put the fencing up, who do the surfacing, the nets and the poles. It's the people that make Ferandell Tennis Courts what it is today.